Africa faces a lack of leadership in all fields of the society. This publication is the sum up of what you don't need to do in Africa. Publication is the result of hard work of people, of teams, of networks. Publication shows the activities of teams. Having publications, you demonstrate to the world the strength of your daily practice. When we see this publication, you remark some things. I want to highlight the fact that we can't acknowledge regarding African research, African leadership in the world. The first author and the last author are not African, although this publication concerns Africa. This publication talks about how we have to train young African cardiologists in the field of pacemaker implantation to treat life-threatening bradycardia by putting pacemaker devices. First author or any single publication is the key person to conduct the work, scientific work, and to disseminate by publishing this work. We are talking about African data, how to train African doctor, but it's French people who lead this project. Putting African scientific cardiologist leader in the middle has just bystander people talking about their daily work. This is not acceptable. This is the first weakness of this publication. The second weakness is that the main lesson, the take-home message of this publication for human being is unacceptable. Because this French doctor calling Africans to have a low level of skills to treat life-threatening cardiac disease. They advise Africans to stay in Africa, to stay in the country where there's not affordable service to implant pacemaker. And proctors, so visitor, will come to show you how to put pacemaker, how to implant. They will train you during few days of proctorship or visiting proctorship, and they will go back. They will come maybe 3 months, 6 months, 1 year after to train you once again. And thereafter, you will have enough ability to insert device to people. This is not acceptable because this is not true. This is not the way how all people around the world are trained to become pacemaker implanters. Why Africa have to do that? And they put data was not true, saying that Africa increased the capability to implant up to 98%. But this way, this is not true. It's a false declaration. Because many Africans, many centers gain these skills by having the normal curriculum to implant, to learn to implant pacemaker around the world. But these French people tell us that they came and they will come again for a few days to train people to learn. Why? Because they don't want to receive fellow from Africa to their hospital. But many French doctors accept to receive fellows from Africa. And many other countries do that. But these people didn't receive any, but they claim to be the leader of the North-South cooperation, although it is not true. And you observe that many African leaders in cardiology accepted to be co-author of this unacceptable paper. And I was in one meeting of the French Society of Cardiology where French doctor acknowledged Africans for this paper published in the JACC. I was upset and I wrote JACC to withdraw this paper because accepted messages for Africa. Of course, it was difficult for JACC to withdraw the paper, although we had a good reason for that. The deal was that we, as African Cardiology Association, that I am the president, and propose us to submit another paper which will give another message, a real message regarding training in permanent pacing in Africa. That's why how you can see here, JACC published few months later a position paper of African Cardiology Association under my leadership. Any single young cardiologist who want to put pacemaker have to be accepted in a center with a deep, complete training program of 6 to 12 months, depending on the volume of this center. This is the condition to be able to implant pacemaker in any single center in Africa to treat patients with life-threatening bradycardia. So, please, young Africans, don't trust people who come to Africa with the behavior of colonialism without respecting African people. You have to be together to accept cooperation, but cooperation with people who respect us. That is very important for the African development in the world, because the competition is very hard. Thank you for your understanding.